Stop. Before you scroll past this, I need you to look at what you just saw. Those were not CGI, not concept art, not creatures from a horror film. Those were real plants, growing on this planet, right now. And by the end of this video, you will never look at a forest the same way again. Stay until plant number 6 because scientists still cannot fully explain what it is doing. And plant number 3 looks so much like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things that fans have been sending photos to the show's creators for years. Let's go. Plant number 1. And already, nature is playing tricks on you. For months, this plant is completely invisible. No leaves above ground, no stem, no roots you can see. It exists as microscopic threads hidden inside another plant's vine, silently stealing water and nutrients, living like a ghost. And then without warning, a single flower the size of a car tire pushes directly out of the earth. No stem to support it, no leaves around it. Just this enormous alien-looking bloom, sitting on the forest floor, staring up at you. The largest flower on Earth, up to 1 meter wide. And here is the part that will stay with you. It smells like rotting meat. Not faintly, not subtly, like something large has been dead for days. But here is the twist. The Rafflesia is not doing that by accident. It is attracting flies. Flies that think they have found a dead animal land on the flower, explore it completely, and accidentally carry pollen to the next Rafflesia. The plant has built a fake crime scene to trick insects into doing its reproduction for it. The whole bloom lasts just 3 days. Then it collapses, turns black, and disappears. 3 days. That is all it gets. And somehow it has survived millions of years doing exactly this. If Rafflesia looks familiar, it probably inspired the design of Vileplume in Pokemon, and more than a few fans think it looks suspiciously like the Demogorgon. Plant number 2 takes everything Rafflesia did and doubles it. Meet the corpse flower. This thing can grow taller than a full-grown adult. It spends years, sometimes a full decade, doing absolutely nothing above ground. Just waiting, gathering energy underground like a living battery. Can weigh over 75 kilograms underground before blooming. And when it finally decides the time is right, it grows at a speed you can actually watch. Several inches per day. But here is what separates the corpse flower from everything else on this list. The central column actually generates its own heat, not warmth from the sun. Its own internal biological heat, almost like a fever. And that heat serves one purpose, to push the smell outward. The smell of rotting flesh mixed with something that has been left in the sun for several days. People who have smelled it describe it as genuinely difficult to stand near. And yet when a corpse flower blooms at a botanical garden, people line up around the block for hours to smell it. Which says something interesting about humans. The bloom lasts roughly 48 hours. Then it collapses underground again, sometimes for another decade. If you have ever seen one bloom in person, you are genuinely lucky. Most people never will. Plant number 3 is the reason this video exists. Look at this. I am going to need you to tell me in the comments, what does this look like to you? Because I have been staring at it for weeks, and I still cannot decide if it looks more like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things, a mouth opening in the ground, or something that genuinely should not exist. Scientists call this a flower. We have questions. Hydnora Africana spends its entire life underground. No leaves, no green parts, no photosynthesis. It attaches to the roots of desert shrubs and silently takes what it needs. Then, and only when it is ready, this flower forces itself through cracked, dry earth and opens these thick, fleshy lobes that look less like a plant and more like a creature deciding whether or not to eat you. But it is not trying to eat you. It is trying to trick beetles. The flower releases a powerful smell of rotting dung to attract dung beetles who crawl inside looking for somewhere to lay eggs. And here is where it gets genuinely strange. The flower closes around them, trapping them inside in darkness. for long enough that pollen sticks to their bodies. Then, and only then, it opens and releases them. It is imprisoning beetles temporarily, using them, and releasing them like the world's smallest and strangest biological contract. Plant number 4 looks like something died here. I mean that respectfully. This is Welwitschia mirabilis, and it is one of the oldest living plants on this planet. That specific individual you are looking at could be over 1,000 years old. Some Welwitschia are older than most countries. It has exactly 2 leaves. Not 2 types of leaves, not 2 clusters. 2 leaves. For its entire life, they never stop growing, and over centuries the wind tears them into long green ribbons, creating this pile of ancient living strips spread across the desert floor. But here is what makes it extraordinary. It figured out how to survive in one of the harshest places on Earth, not by fighting the desert, but by listening to it. When rain disappears for months, coastal fog rolls in from the Atlantic Ocean, and Welwitschia drinks that fog directly through its leaves. The desert air itself becomes its water source. It has been doing this quietly for 1,000 years. While empires rose and fell around it, Welwitschia just kept drinking fog and growing 2 leaves and surviving. Plant number 5 is where nature stops pretending to be peaceful. This is the giant pitcher plant, Nepenthes raja. And yes, it looks exactly like what you think it is. A trap. Some pitchers can hold enough liquid to fill several large water bottles. And it is not just catching flies. It has been found containing drowned rats, insects, small lizards. Anything that lands on the slippery rim loses its grip, falls into digestive fluid, and slowly becomes nutrition for the plant. Evolution looked at the concept of a leaf and decided, what if instead it was a stomach? The giant pitcher plant grows in mountain soil so poor in nutrients that ordinary roots simply cannot absorb enough to survive, so it turned a leaf into a digestive chamber and became one of the only plants on Earth that actively hunts. Plant number 6 is smaller than everything else on this list, but it might be the most unsettling. These are called doll's eyes, and I think you can see why. Each white berry sits on a thick red stalk, with a dark spot at the center that makes it look exactly like an eye staring at you. Multiple eyes, all watching. From a quiet forest corner. Those berries are highly toxic, particularly to the human cardiovascular system. They can cause cardiac arrest. Birds can eat them safely and spread the seeds. But for humans, those pretty little staring berries are genuinely dangerous. The plant does not need thorns, does not need a bad smell. It just grows these eyes that are so specifically unsettling that most animals leave them alone. In a forest full of color and noise, doll's eyes proves that sometimes the quietest thing in the room is the one you should be most afraid of. Plant number 7 looks like it was designed by someone who had never seen a flower, but had been told about one by someone describing a nightmare. This is the bat flower, deep purple, almost black, with wide wing-like structures spreading from the center and long, thin filaments hanging down like whiskers, giving the whole flower the look of a bat mid-flight frozen in time. While most tropical flowers compete for attention with bright colors and sweet smells, the bat flower went completely the other direction. Dark surfaces, strange textures, almost no scent. People grow it in collections worldwide, mostly because when you show it to someone for the first time, they always ask the same question, is that real? And finally, plant number 8, which is less a plant and more a statement. This is the dragon blood tree, and the first time most people see it, they assume the photo has been edited. It has not. That perfect upside-down umbrella shape rising from bare rocky ground is exactly what this tree looks like. Every branch reaching outward and upward, creating a dense flat canopy, like something designed by an architect rather than grown by evolution. But that shape is not decoration. It is engineering. The flat canopy catches mist, channels it down the branches, and delivers water directly to the roots. And then there is the blood, cut into the bark of a dragon blood tree, and deep red resin bleeds out. Not sap the color of rust. Deep, vivid, red, like the tree is bleeding. For centuries, this resin was used as dye, medicine, varnish, and ritual material. It was traded across the ancient world. People believed the tree had magical properties. And standing in front of one today on that strange alien island, it is honestly difficult to completely disagree. 8 plants. 8 completely different answers to the same question every living thing has to ask. How do I survive? Rafflesia built a fake crime scene. The corpse flower grew a biological heater. Hydnora built a prison. Welwitschia learned to drink air. The giant pitcher plant became a stomach. Doll's eyes became eyes. The bat flower became a shadow. And the dragon blood tree learned to bleed. Nature does not care about being beautiful. It cares about being alive. And on those terms, every single plant on this list is an absolute masterpiece. Now I genuinely want to know which one of these made you stop and stare. Drop the number in the comments. Just the number, 1 through 8. And let's see which plant wins. Subscribe and I promise the next one is even stranger.